Welcome to the next project. This is episode 8 of our Fender Starcaster, Stratocaster, Extreme Modification Project Series. We put color on the front in episode 7 and episode 8. Here we are. We're putting color on the sides and back twice. I put it on, didn't like it, took it off, did it again. I like it now. We are also going to polish this, I think, before the end of the episode. Let's jump right in and start the next project.
It just wouldn't be a fun project if there wasn't a buttload of sanding to be done. And I'm telling you, there's a buttload of sanding happening in this episode. Don't run off. It's not all bad. It's sanding. It is all bad. There's no good sanding. I'm trying to do a good job of... Oh, look! I drilled a hole. How quickly I get distracted. Yep, that was a ground wire hole running from the control cavity into the, what is that called? That spring cavity area in the back of the guitar. That's what it's called. Now we're doing a little bit of tape, getting the hanger mounted to the neck pocket. That hanger will go on, well, I'm not going to spoil it. You'll see in just a few moments. But covering up the body, and here I'm doing some loose taping around the edge, so when I spray, it won't be a crisp, hard line. It'll be kind of a ugly, foggy, soft line. Sit and spin, that sounds like a child's toy. We are putting on the first coat of color, which I'm calling a foundation coat, and in this case I'm using white, which is just to get everything a uniform color, so when I do spray red, it will be easier for the red to cover evenly. That's what I'm thinking. The painting rig or swivel that I have here is made out of a 1/2-inch electrical conduit that I just welded together. Once I got it done, I was like, why didn't I make it out of copper plumbing? I could have soldered the whole thing together. So there may be a version 2 coming soon, and when that happens, I'll maybe make a video of that. Mixing up the red, and in this case it's called coral red, and it looks really good. It's a really pretty color. There is a lot of metallic flake in this, and it's very large metallic flake. It's not metal flake, but it's close. Pouring it in, now here I'm just shooting the hard to reach cavities, the things that when I'm spraying the overall directional coats, I won't have to try to dodge in there. So we're just spinning the machine around and giving it a first coat. Went on really well. I do have 3 fans set up, all pulling air out. As you can see, they have furnace filters stuck in them, and this made a huge difference. Great improvement. It works really well. We're adding a 3rd coat here, but before we do that, we have to peel off all that protective masking that I did. And the plan at this point is to gently spray like kind of a burst or a faded edge. And as we'll see, I struggled a bit with this, but that's okay. We have recovery mode coming soon. Gotta take the good with the bad. It's actually looking pretty good, and everything's sprayed on really well.
We are midway through the painting. Got the base coat on. I actually shot a white base or foundation coat and then put the metallic coral red on top of that. Did a kind of a burst around the front edge of the figured wood into the sides. And that went kind of well. Not entirely happy with it because this red, this coral red, has very coarse metallic flake in it. It's not metal flake, but it's metallic. It's a finer, but it's really coarse stuff. It's just short of being metallic flake. And as I was trying to spray the bursts kind of blend around the edges, it was just putting out a lot of fine flake all over it, and it's all over the front. And it's not the end of the world, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for or hoping for. Knew it could happen, and it did. So now I'm on the fence as to just shooting clear over it and leaving it, because you can still see the figure, the burst, and the extra fog of metallic flake on the figured top. I'm not thrilled with. So what I'm thinking, option A or B1, option 1, I'll just tack rag the whole thing, clear coat it, and be done. And it will look good. It'll probably look better than it does now. Option 2 will be to gently sand all the way around and find that break angle and just basically sand the level spot so there'll be color on the side, and sand the flake and the bit of a burst off the top flat surface. I don't know what I'm doing. It's going to be a couple seconds and I'll make a decision. Okay, follow up to my indecision. Just took it outside in the sun and looked at it, and the metallic overspray that's on the top shows up even more than it does in this crappy indoor lighting. So I'm going to take the plunge and sand it back gently to the break angle edge all the way around the top. And if I don't screw it up, we'll be able to move on to clear. If I screw it up, I'm not sure what we'll do after that. Well, let's continue. You got it. A lot of time wasted.
As I mentioned, I thought about sanding the top figured area back to the edge to get a crisp edge. But then I was like, ooh, a cabinet scraper would work really well. And then I was like, no, it wouldn't. But a razor blade would. So I grabbed a razor blade and started removing the burst that I just sprayed on. And overall, it went pretty well. I did a lot of scraping. There was a lot of overspray. So you can see here, we're getting really close to having all of that metallic flake removed. There's still a little bit here and there. So I grabbed some 600 grit paper, cut out a little oval shape or circular shape, and did some sanding to remove all the extra little flake that was on the top. So we're getting really close. A little dusting. Now I had an idea that I thought was good, but I really didn't do a great job of it. Grabbed a little bit of trans tint dye and just wiped right around the edge where I just sanded it back. And that's to tame down where the crisp edge, there's just a little silver. It's the metallic flake showing through there. So I tried to tone that down. Here we're mixing up the clear. That's pretty exciting. Dumping it all over the cup, not necessarily in the cup. And we're going to town. Back on the sit and spin machine. Dusting it off, shooting the hard to reach places, catching my edges, and going to town. It actually sprayed really well. Flowed out good, looking good. Happy camper or not. We'll see. And we're jumping into a second coat of clear, spraying it on, and it's going on really well. But as right about now, as I was looking at it, man, that top really pops. It's looking great. Very happy. The sides look pretty good. That's all looking nice. But man, that is not the red I was after. I stopped spraying at 2 coats of clear because I wasn't really sure if I liked the color on the back. And I didn't want to put a whole bunch of clear on it and then change my mind on what I'm doing. So I stopped where I was. But otherwise it looks good. Very shiny, dried out, flowed out, smooth, looking good. So I don't want to disappoint you. There's more sanding. And it's one of my favorite machines too, the orbital elbow wrecker. Honestly, I have got tennis elbow going on right now, so this just didn't do me any favors. No, I don't play tennis. I've tried. It was not pretty. Nobody wanted to play tennis with me, actually, after I tried once. So we're going about this a different way now, doing a hard taped edge instead of that fuzzy little soft tape edge that I did the first time. But otherwise the process is pretty much the same, still masking everything off to protect it as much as possible. And we're gonna jump back into it and basically repeat everything we just watched. Shooting on a foundation color of white, which went well. And we're jumping in now to our red again. However, this is a mixture. I used the coral red and what's called a base red, which is also a metallic red, but it's deeper. So between the mixture of the two, I still have a lot of the bright coral color and the larger metallic flake, but the base red has a finer flake and is a deeper bodied red overall, so I'm falling somewhere in between. At this point, we had some wind and a storm come through, and I was very focused on painting and not paying attention to what was happening around me. One of the furnace filters blew out because the wind reversed. Even though air was being pulled out through those fans, the gusts were so strong they actually blew the filters in, and I was oblivious. So now we've got all the red on, peeling off the tape, getting ready for clear. But I had another brilliant idea, and that was to mix some trans tint red with some of my urethane clear and kind of fog in or put a little burst or a fade on the edge just to help hide that harsh edge just a little bit. And now it's time to start spraying clear. Peel off the last little bits of tape and hitting the edge and the hard to access spots and going to town. And honestly, everything went well. However, when those wind gusts came through and I was oblivious, they were so strong they popped the filters in. Got a little bit of dust flying around in the room, so I did end up with a little bit of a few dust specks in the clear. But that's what sandpaper and buffing is for, right? Sure. You know it, more sanding, because I know everybody loves to see me sand. I only used 2000 grit paper, didn't go any coarser than that, didn't go any finer either. Then I went straight to my buffing machine. I did use the, I guess it's a medium cut compound, and here I'm using the fine compound. Cleaning up the wheel a little bit, adding more compound, and just polishing it up, and man, it works great. I wish I would have made that buffer years ago. Makes life much easier. Here, just cleaning up all the little dusts and things that are all over, and it's looking great. I like it. I'm finally happy.
We've reached the end of episode 8, believe it or not, and we have a big red shiny guitar. It's looking pretty good. It kind of looks like a Stratocaster again. Put the neck on to make sure that it still fits, and it does. I don't know if it's in the right place, but that's the way it's going to be. I would love to say everything went perfectly in this episode, but as we witnessed, it wasn't. I was involved and errors were made. But maybe the thing to take away is if you don't like it, step back and then fix it. Or if it's really not that bad, maybe you can just let it go and enjoy it as is. It did look good the first time around. It just wasn't quite the red that I wanted. So I'm in no hurry, so I just took the time to step back, remove all the red, and try it again, and it did turn out good the second time. It's all good. So, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Hit the notification bell so next time I post video, you will know whether it's on this project or something else. You'll get a little message. Hit the thumbs up button because that makes YouTube happy. And when YouTube's happy, we're all happy. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you. Bye.